There's a particular kind of shame that comes when you've been doing the healing work, really doing it for years, and then you get triggered, and it's bad. The kind of triggered where you feel like yourself at your lowest point, flooded, overwhelmed, unable to think clearly, convinced that nothing has changed. I'm Becky Moller. I've been on my own journey for the past 10 years, and last June, I was able to attend the Echart Tolle retreat. And as he was on the stage, he started reading from a Tolstoy novella. And the purpose of the reading was to illustrate the pain body between two people in relationship. The scene depicted the complete possession of a human being by that jealous rage, that pain body, that ego. And I recognized something in it. Not the version of me I show up as when everything is good, when I'm able to use my tools. The version of me that a trauma trigger can still call to the surface. Something like that happened to me just before I attended that retreat last month. Something relatively small came up, and it sent me completely under in a way I hadn't been under for years. For days, my sleep was disrupted. My mind was in that relentless loop, and I sat with that and I felt a lot of shame. Over the last 10 years, I have accumulated a lot of understanding and awareness, but still, I found myself a week before this Echart Tolle retreat back in an embodied trigger, and not one piece of spiritual knowledge I'd accumulated touched it. Here is what Echart said about the pain body that I've always understood intellectually, but understood in a new way at this retreat. The pain body is not a story. It's not a belief. It's not a thought pattern you can simply choose differently. It is an energetic entity, and it wants to feed. It wants to feed on pain. Whether we call it a trauma response or we call it pain body, when you're in a space where that pain is forward, there's a momentum to it. It needs pain to sustain itself. And the way it gets fed is through your attention, through following its thoughts, through your mental engagement with whatever it is presenting. And here is the catch. All of your conceptual knowledge does not necessarily protect you from that pain body. When the pain body is activated, it wants to pull you completely out of that being dimension of awareness and presence, where there is a part of you that stays grounded in seeing that bigger sense of who you are, the awareness underneath the pain. But pain body pulls you entirely into this horizontal dimension, which is the dimension of doing, of thinking, of concept. So if pain body can keep you trapped on this conceptual level, it will continue to feed, because you'll loop and you'll loop and you'll loop, and you'll only dig yourself deeper into that place of confusion or a sense of feeling trapped in an identity or circumstance that has become, through that pain body thought process, completely hopeless. Echart calls egoic thought, when we're caught in egoic thought, a total lack of awareness. We're completely enveloped here in the thinking mind on the conceptual level, and we've lost the being dimension, vertical dimension, horizontal dimension. When you're in pain body, you cannot see it. You're just in it. In a way, you become it. You identify completely with what pain body is saying, what the voice in your head is speaking to you, what he described and what Tolstoy wrote about as being possessed. I have felt that. That complete takeover where you're watching yourself from far away and you feel like, wow, I'm crazy and there's nothing I can do about it. So, what do you do? Here's what I'm sitting with and what I feel like I'm understanding in myself on a deeper level since attending this Echart retreat. You cannot fight pain body or trauma response with more thinking. Okay? Pain body is conceptual level. You cannot fight it on the conceptual level. You especially cannot fight it with spiritual concepts. The only thing that has power over the pain body is presence, the present moment, the vertical dimension, the light of awareness, direct, non-conceptual presence with what is actually happening in your body in this moment. not analyzing the trigger, not trying to understand why or fix the trigger or the pain or make it go away, just noticing, oh, I'm activated. I notice the sensation in my chest. I notice my breath is short. I'm here. I'm right here with this. I'm right here. It brings it back into this vertical dimension. The reason I think that this is hard for long-term practitioners, because I see this in myself and also the students I work with who've been on this path for a long time, is that sometimes the more conceptual framework we gain, the more automatically we reach for the framework immediately when that pain arises. We have so much to reach for. We have so many concepts now and so many vocabulary words and understandings and lenses to view it through. But in doing that, if we're not careful, we feed the pain body with the very thing it needs. Mental engagement, more concepts, even spiritual mental engagement feeds it. Something Echart said that I want to offer you because it shifted something in me is that the pain body is not evidence that you are behind. It is not evidence that your healing has not worked or that you are not as far along as you thought. Can you sense the ego in that line of thinking in itself? A strong pain body means you have had strong pain. That is all. And a strong pain body will need to be met with strong presence. It can be a gift because it's so loud that you might be more likely to find that being dimension than someone whose pain body isn't as loud as yours. A strong pain body will need to be met with strong presence, not just once, but repeatedly, for as long as it is there. The work is not to eliminate it. The work is to stop feeding it. And the way you stop feeding it, the only way, is to become the watcher, not the warrior, not the judge, not the fixer, not the critic, just the watcher that says, there you are again. There's room for you. The next time you feel yourself getting activated, and if you're a human, that is going to happen. See if you can just notice it without analysis, without urgency, without trying to fix anything or saying inside yourself, oh no, it's back again. Something's wrong. I thought I was over this. I've done so much work. Instead, just, here it is. Here's that sensation. Here's the activation. Where do I feel it in my body? I'm aware of it, but I'm also aware of the stillness behind it. And if I want to understand this pain body, I can keep one foot feeling into what's here and wanting to understand it as long as my other foot is planted firmly in the stillness underneath it. And I don't lose the awareness of myself as awareness. The boundary within yourself. I'm not going to feed this with my mind. That is the practice. It is quiet. It is unglamorous. Nobody else will see it or clap for you. It is the only thing that actually works in my experience. And it is a lifelong practice in my experience that I will be engaged in until I am safely dead. I'm Becky Moller. In the next video in this Echart retreat series, we're going to talk about attention, specifically about a phrase Echart used again and again in his meditation session that struck me so deeply. Give your attention. We're going to talk about where we give our attention and what that reveals about what we actually trust.